I don't think I could have written mine without having his in the background. Because when I went to art school in Vancouver, they were teaching from it and using a lot of the exercises that he used. And that sort of got under my skin. And now some of them I still use and teach, and I sort of forget where they came from. A lot of people don't know where this kind of drawing is coming from, but it's from back in the things that he wrote about. But it was fun also, having read him and learned that this is an exercise that Nicolaides came up with, to go back to an artist and have him saying something the same thing. It is really the natural way to draw, and the only way to draw properly is to go back and see how the old masters drew. And they often say things that Nicolaides picked up on, quite often. We don't realize how much our brains are in control. The way we see, the way we're set up to see, the way that the whole visual system works is what we're stuck with. And we haven't any other way, or maybe we do. But usually the way we see is a series of tiny little jerky movements called saccades, or you think of them as rapid eye movements. You see them when people are asleep and they're dreaming something visual, and you'll see their eyes twitching. This goes on all the time whenever, not just seeing something, but also when we're thinking visually. And these have been worked on over the years. Anything we recognize has its saccade. Yours will be different than mine. When you look at me or at a human face, the saccades that you wander around with your eyes will be different from mine. But for you, they'll be yours. You always follow the same ones. Whenever we recognize somebody, that's how we do it. Because the brain is already with these cells all set up. And the information's come pouring down when you see me because you know me. And how much chance do you have to see anything else but what you're recognizing and what is stored in your brain? And that's why it's so hard to draw something we recognize. It's way easier to draw a rock or a tree than to draw a human face or anything that we are used to seeing and giving it a name. So a lot of my teaching is trying to stop people from recognizing. Make the body completely different. Make it completely new. Don't let us name it. Let us find other names for it. Let us find other connections and other extensions. And I think this is really the most exciting part of drawing is when you drop the names and you drop the divisions that the names give you, and you just begin to look. And it's scary because you actually are using your eyes to look rather than, to let light in and to see what you're looking at instead of using all the knowledge that you think you have, which is pretty mediocre and pretty boring. Yeah, it doesn't really help in drawing. Yeah, and I noticed too when we get out into that sort of nameless territory and we're working through something we've never seen before, that the actual, and it's physical too, the retina does open a little more, the cells are more active, and more information comes in than we had before. And that was really surprising, and that's very lately that's I've come to realize that and sort of research how that can be, and found that I'm not just kidding myself, I'm seeing more than I saw when I began to look at that. Yeah. Because maybe I've chosen part of the body and it hasn't got a name and I'm going to draw it. No, that's boring. But I stick with it. And every time I look, more information comes. So there's a lot out there. If we just drop the preconceptions and drop the idea that we know all about it. That I think is the most exciting thing that I like doing with my students. Getting very surprised at what they come up with.